Hi, this is Karen with InspiredByGram.com. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make a super easy, quick card using the Ornate Garden Designer Series paper. So let's get started. The stamp set we're going to be using is Daisy Lane. It is a cling stamp set and is carrying over into the 2020 catalog. The ink colors we're using, Crushed Curry and Rococo Rose. Now, if we look at the Designer Series paper, there is a new yellow in here. It's called Bumblebee. It's one of the in colors for 2020, 2022, but we don't have that yet. So the closest ink color I thought would work is Crushed Curry. Okay, so we will need Rococo Rose card base, and that's your standard 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already pre-scored and burnished it at 4 1/4. We will need a piece of early espresso that is cut 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. The Ornate Garden is cut 3 by 5 1/2, and that's to maximize your paper. And we're going to be laying this down so that the cardstock and the Designer Series paper goes edge to edge on that card base. So I'm just looking for a 1/4 inch border, top and bottom, or thereabouts. Now, I think my paper is running over the edge just a little bit, but it's just not hardly anything at all. So I'm not going to worry about that. Now this piece gets layered on the top of your card. I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue. And I'm also going to look at before I lay it down on the card base, I've got an opening at the bottom. I'm going to lay it down in front of me to see which direction the paper goes that works best. So I'm going to lay it down this way in an equal border, top and bottom, or thereabouts. Now, if this is where your paper is running over the edge too much, then you can just trim it off with your paper snips. See, mine is like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, so I'm just going to take my paper snips here and just trim it off just ever so slightly. And no one will ever know, it's just this much right here, not very much. Okay, so now the inside panel is your, it's a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Whisper White. Oh my goodness, can't even say that. And I've got just a scrap of the Ornate Garden. It's a 1/2 inch by 4. I'm just going to add my liquid glue, and I'm going to turn it because I like that flower going up, and just layer it down. And to the left of the edge, a 1/4 inch, so the Whisper White comes through. And now I'm just going to adhere this panel onto the card on the inside. Okay, so now I don't really talk about blocks that I use, but these are Stampin' Up! Blocks. They're fabulous. This is size C for the daisy. And then for Smile, I also used a size C. I love them because they have this nice little grip, and they're very strong and heavy. And I would say that, let me see the height of these, 3/4 of an inch. So nice grip to them. And I didn't start with these blocks in the very, very beginning when I was Demonstrator, but I have transferred over to them. And I really, really like them. So now I'm just grabbing a piece of Whisper White because I totally forgot that. I'm going to use, I think it's going to be easier actually just to punch this out. I'm using the 2-inch circle punch, which will carry over to the annual catalog. Some circle punches are not, so make sure you are aware of which ones are retiring, because like I use circle punches a lot, and you got to get them while you can. So I'm going to take Crushed Curry. I'm going to take this daisy. I'm bringing in a scrap paper. I know it's wet on white. I apologize for that. But I'm just going to stamp the daisy down at the bottom. And I just didn't want it to go over the edge. Okay. Actually, I want it to go over the edge. So let's just flip it over because we have 2 sides. Okay, just like that. And I just didn't want to get that ink on my desk. Now I'm going to take Smile. Going to ink that up with Rococo Rose, and I'm going to stamp that right down on the top. So our sentiment in a focal point looks like this. Now, your Whisper White envelope, you can bring that in and we can stamp that in yellow as well. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing, ink up with Rococo Rose Smile, and I'm just going to stamp that right over the top of that daisy, just so that the theme carries from the inside of the card to the outside of the card. All right, so now we have another punched out image here. I've got the leaf punch. This is retiring, so I use this one a lot for lots of focal points on cards. I'm just going to need one. And let's adhere this circle onto that, I think it's Label Love punch. I'll have it down in the description. I'm going to slide this in place. So just a little bit of that early espresso is peeking out at the bottom and the top. Okay, I'm going to take a glue dot, add that, and I'm going to put it down here off to the side. Actually, let me put it over here so it's coming with that daisy. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Now, I said I was going to put up the flower. Let me just show you. I'm just making this card from scratch. I didn't even try it ahead of time. I was thinking I would take this flower and add it on here, but I don't think it's gonna, I think this daisy looks fabulous, so we're just gonna go with that. Now, if you wanted to add dimension to your leaf, just take your bone folder and just go down the center of it. It just adds a little bit of touch to the leaf, and it just gives it some dimension. All right, so now we are going to pop this up with dimensionals, and I'm probably going to use 3, just kind of create a triangle with them, and I did put it over that leaf just to give it some more security there, some falling off. And then where do I want to put it? I'm going to put it to the left side because the way that is angling the leaf. Right there. And now I'm going to bring in the Holiday Basic Rhinestones. These are my Hostess code for the month of May. Any orders of $35 or higher will get you a package of these. They're really pretty. They come in 5 different colors, and I'm going to use the lighter blue, and I'm just going to put 3 around the card. I'm also going to use the yellow, probably 2. I like to do them at angles. And then 1 more, maybe, let's go with green. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that one, let's go up here. Okay, so now my eye is focused on this, and it's also brought over here as well. So that's the trick with the rhinestone jewels. They do add a lot to your card, and I highly suggest those. This will go out in the mail, no problem, at the regular postage rate in the United States. So, all right, so here's the card that I used. I used Timeless Tulips for the sentiment on this one, and a retired flower punch with the leaf punch with no dimension there, so you can kind of see the difference. And this is the card we made today with the matching envelope. For all your inspiration and products for Stampin' Up, you can reach me at inspiredbygraham.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.